So, a reading from Tai Pei, a novel by Tao Lin. Entering the party on the fifth floor, Paul realized he'd said vaguely negative things on the internet at some point about a person who was probably in attendance, so walked quickly to Jeremy, an easy to talk to acquaintance, and asked what movies he'd seen recently. Michelle stood at a near distance, partly in view, then obscured, then fully in view, before approaching with what seemed like a sly smile to ask if Paul wanted a drink. Jeremy was calculating aloud the per hour price of a two-part biopic on Che Guevara when Michelle returned with a beer. Paul thanked her, and she moved away in an intermittent, curving, crab-like manner, seeming relaxed and disoriented. She wants to be alone, thought Paul with some confusion, or she wants to let me be alone. An hour later, they were holding their third or fourth drinks, sitting on chairs in a dark corner, facing what seemed to Paul like one group of 60 to 80 friends. Loud, dancey, mostly electronic music, currently Michael Jackson, played from unseen speakers. Paul was staring at an area of torsos. In his previous relationships, he knew he had experienced dissatisfaction to some degree as an empirically backed enthusiasm for the future, because it implied the possibility of a more satisfying relationship with someone he hadn't met. With Michelle, whom he felt closer to than his previous girlfriends, he'd told her this a few times truthfully. Dissatisfaction felt more like a personal failing, a direct indication of internal malfunctioning, which he should focus on privately correcting. Instead, he vaguely knew he was waiting for Michelle, or some combination of Michelle and the world, to endure and overpower his negativity, to be the solution in which he would irreversibly, untraceably dissolve. He sipped his wine, thinking about how Michael Jackson had been using 10 to 40 Xanax per night, according to the internet, before he died last summer. Paul distractedly scooted his chair toward Michelle and, with unclear purpose, touched her shoulder, tentative and reckless as a child petting a large dog looking elsewhere, expecting the bored expression of 10 minutes ago when they looked at each other non-committally as she returned to her chair with another drink. Paul was surprised by Michelle's severely, actively, almost seethingly depressed expression. Michelle's face reddened antagonistically in reflexive defense, it seemed, because then she appeared frustrated and a little confused, then shy and embarrassed. Paul asked if she wanted to leave soon. Michelle hesitated, then asked if that was what Paul wanted. I don't know. Are you hungry? Not really. Are you? I don't know, said Paul. I would eat somewhere. One night, months ago, they had sat on a curb on Lafayette Street to continue an argument in a resting position. Paul had become distracted by Michelle's calm, intelligent demeanor and had begun to forget why they were arguing, even while speaking in an agitated voice, as he became fixated with increasing appreciation on how Michelle liked him enough to not simply leave and never see him again, which she could do, which anyone could always do, Paul had thought, suddenly intrigued by the concept of gratitude. Do you want to eat at the green table? If that's what you want, said Michelle. Okay, when do you want to leave? After I finish this glass of wine. Okay, said Paul, and scooted his chair halfway to where it had been. I'm going to introduce Kyle to someone. I'll be back in like 5 minutes.